Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time, in my opinion, is a pretty funny one and just crazy one. Today is about the time that I caught my teacher with something in his desk that he shouldn't have in school, specifically certain kinds of pictures you're not supposed to have in school, and the same teacher got arrested a year later. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this story time. Leave a like on the video if you do, and let's jump right into this. So this story time takes place back in 2015, okay? Now it was a normal school year for me pretty much. I was getting towards the end of it at this point. I wasn't having the best grades in the world, but I was getting by. Now I had this history teacher, let's just call him Mr. Albert, okay? Now Mr. Albert was a very cool/weird soul. He was always really nice to me and nice to my friends, which I liked a lot because a lot of the teachers in my school weren't super nice. But he was one of them. But sometimes Mr. Albert would act a little bit strange. Like some days he'd be really outgoing and like super nice to me and my friends, and other days he would be super quiet and to himself and sometimes be a little bit strict and kind of be heavier with the bad grades. So that's not fun. But either way, for the most part, he was really cool. Like out of all the teachers I've had, he's definitely in like my top 5 favorite teachers that I've had because he wasn't failing me, which was nice. But one day I found something in Mr. Albert's desk, something that you shouldn't have in your desk as a teacher at a school. So this all starts off as a normal day. I wake up for school, I get ready, I was super tired, I was sleep deprived, like every other school day. I went to school, I got breakfast in the cafeteria with my friends. On this day, my bus got to school really early. I was like 15 or 20 minutes early, so I got to sit in the cafeteria with my friends for like 20, 25 minutes. So that was cool. And then it was time for first period. I went to first period. First period was completely normal, and then second period came along. And that's when I had Mr. Albert's class. So yeah, after first period ends, me and my friends go into the hallway and we just kind of talk in my locker for a bit. And then the first bell rings, which means I had 2 minutes to get to class, and none of us moved. We all just stood at my locker and kept talking. And then 2 minutes later, the second bell rings, which means we are all now late to class. Now, I was a little bit worried because sometimes I'd be late to Mr. Albert's class and he'd be really mad at me and give me points off. And sometimes I'd be really late and he'd just be in a super good mood and super nice to me and my friends and just cool about it. So I was really hoping that on this day I was catching him on like a very good day for Mr. Albert. Last thing I wanted was an angry Mr. Albert because that wouldn't be fun. So I walk up to my classroom, I open the door, I'm the last one in class, and he goes, "Austin, you're late." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Albert." And he's like, "It's all good, man, take a seat." And I just thought to myself, like, yes, he's in a good mood, like, yes, that's amazing. Because there was other times where I was late to class and he would give me points off for the day and like it would affect my overall grade, and that wasn't fun. So yeah, I walk to the back of the classroom, I sit down at my desk, I start working on whatever we were working on, and I'm just sitting there. Now fast forward to the very end of class, the bell rings and everyone gets up and starts leaving, and right as I was walking out the door with my friend, we were the last people out the room, and right as we're about to walk out, I hear Mr. Albert behind me say, "Hey guys, stop." And that worried me because I'm like, all right, great. He didn't stop anyone from leaving except me and my friend. Like, I'm thinking to myself, all right, he's either about to talk to us for something that's not that important, or he's about to yell at us or something because our grades are slipping in the class. And I walk over there with my friend and we stand in front of him and he's like, "Hey guys, I just need your help with something real quick." And immediately me and my friend just look at each other in relief because we both thought he was going to yell at us or something about our grades. But that wasn't the case. I guess we were getting decent grades at this time. He goes, "Yeah, I just need help fixing my desk. Can you guys hold it up while I screw this in?" And I was like, sure. He's like, "All right, awesome. There's a screwdriver in my desk. Can you grab it out the top drawer?" And I didn't hear that properly. I thought he just said grab it out one of the drawers. So I start opening all the drawers in his desk, and I hear him yell, "No, the top one!" And right as he said that, I opened up the middle one because I had already started opening it right as he said that. So yeah, I opened up this middle drawer, and I start closing it immediately because he was yelling at me. But as I was closing it, I saw something in there. Something I was definitely not supposed to see. It was a big stack of Playboy magazines. If you don't know what Playboy magazines are, it's just brazzers for boomers, okay? So I see this big stack of Playboy magazines in his drawer, and next to it there's something else. It's a plastic bag, a small plastic baggie of green stuff. And this baggie gave off a scent when I opened the drawer, a scent of skunk, so I think we all know what I'm talking about here. So yeah, I close that middle drawer, I open up the top one, I grab his screwdriver, and I go to hand it to him, and he's looking at me with this look of just anger and confusion and like guilt. He was giving me the look of like, did you just see what was in there? Did you see it or did you not? Like that was the look he was giving me. And I just hand him a screwdriver and I'm like, "Here you go, man." And he's like, "All right, hold this up for me." And me and my friend both sit there and we hold it up, and he screws in the part of the leg that was messed up. I don't really know what he was doing, but he fixed his desk and we helped him fix it. And after that, he's like, "All right, guys, get to class. Here's some late passes because I know you're probably going to be late." And I'm like, "Thanks, Mr. Albert." And me and my friend walked out of the class. And right when we walked out of his class and me and him were alone, I was like, "Yo," I opened up the middle drawer of his desk and he had a stack of Playboys and pot. And he was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, no way. I'm like, yep, I guess we know why he's having a good day sometimes. And he's like, yo, that's crazy. So fast forward, the rest of that day was completely normal, but the next day I walk into class, I get my first period done with, that was a super normal class, and then after that I go to my locker, and when I walk up to my locker, Mr. Albert is just standing there waiting for me. And I'm like, hey, what's up, Mr. Albert? He's like, hey, I gotta talk to you about yesterday. I'm like, what about it? He's like, when you were fixing my desk, you went into the middle drawer. That's correct, right? I'm like, yeah, I opened it on accident. And he goes, okay, so you saw what was in there, right? And I'm like, yeah, I did. And he goes, okay, Austin, all I ask of you is please don't go around telling all of your friends about that. It was a stupid mistake of mine and it won't happen again, I promise. I'm like, yeah, man, you don't have to worry about it. I told one person, it was my friend that was helping you fix the desk with me, but that's it. And he goes, okay, like, please don't tell anyone else. I'm like, I won't. And then, of course, I had to crack a joke. I'm like, so that's why you're in a good mood sometimes. And he goes, exactly. And I started laughing because that's just funny. And yeah, after that, he went back to his class, and I went with him because I actually had his class at this time. And yeah, I went to his class that day. That class was completely normal. Like, the whole rest of that day was pretty much normal, except later that night, I was talking to my friend on the phone, and I was like, yo, dude, don't go around telling people about Mr. Albert. Like, that's just between me and you. He's like, don't worry, bro, I'm not gonna. Like, I haven't told anyone. I'm like, all right, cool. And yeah, he never did tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone. Mr. Albert was a cool guy. He just made a stupid mistake, and that was the end of that. But fast forward to like 4 years later, I'm just sitting on my computer making a video, and I get a FaceTime call from my old friend from school. And I hadn't talked to him in years. This is the same friend who I had in Mr. Albert's class. And I answer the FaceTime, and I hadn't talked to him in so long. I'm like, yo, what's up, man? He's like, yo, I had to call you about this. Like, you're the only person I could laugh at this with. I'm like, what is it? And he flips his phone camera around, and it's on his computer, and it's Mr. Albert's mugshot. It's like public records of his mugshot because he got arrested for a public intoxication charge. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. What? He's like, yeah, dude, I was looking through the public records and I saw that name. And I was like, no way. I know who that is. And I'm like, dude, that's insane. And he's like, I know, man. I had no one else to talk to about this. Like, you were the only person that would understand it. And yeah, we just laughed about that for like 5 minutes and caught up for a bit. And after that, I just kind of went on with my day. But yeah, that was the last time I heard of Mr. Albert. Luckily, it wasn't like a super serious charge he got arrested for. It was a public intoxication charge. So I think he spent the night in jail. But still, it was pretty crazy seeing my old teacher's mugshot. Like, that's just insane. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the tale of Mr. Albert. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.
And I'm like, what's up? They leave me out for the dead, and now they know they're fucked. All my texts are unread, that's how I know she's done. My life changed in a flash, all my friends gone. My friends gone. What can I say? All this lavish shit comes with downfall. Every day, leave my phone at home, not taking no call. I'm away if you're trying to fuck up how I'm working. Told that bitch to Kid Rock, she know it ain't working.